Shall we start, sir? A very good afternoon. I am Dr. Manisha Kodape. Welcome you all for the inaugural function of National Science Day 2022. Let us begin this event with the quote by Sir C.V. Raman. I am the master of my failure. If I never fail, how I will be ever learn? It seems that he was the most outstanding scientist that India gave to the world. National Science Day is celebrated annually on February 28 to commemorate the discovery of Raman effect. So before starting this program, let me take this opportunity to express my deep sense of gratitude to Honorable Dr. Dilip Malkhede sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor of our university, as a source of inspiration to organize this program. Friends, on this auspicious occasion, it's our pleasure to have with us Honorable Dr. Sanjay Duddul, In charge Dean, Faculty of Science and Technology, and Professor and Head, Department of Applied Electronics, Sant Gadge Baba, Amravati University, Amravati, as a Chairman. Honorable Dr. J.S. Pandey, former Professor and Chairman, Academy of Science and Innovative Research, NIRI, Nagpur, as a chief guest. We are also having with us respected Dr. Tushar Deshmukh, Registrar, Sant Gadge Baba, Amravati University, Amravati, and respected Dr. Sandeep Wagode, Coordinator, National Science Day 22. I also welcome all the authorities on the different bodies in the university, Management Council member, Academic Council member, Senate member, Board of Studies member, all the heads of the department, PRO, all faculty members, teaching and non-teaching staff, media person, and all my student friends. So let us begin this program with the traditional lamp lighting ceremony. I kindly request all the dignitaries on the dais for lamp lighting. As a tribute to Sant Gadge Baba, who was a social reformer, forget this. I request to give a round of applause. So as per our tradition, before beginning the welcome of the guest, I request all of you to please get ready for the university song.
नित्यं हि विद्याचिन्तनं नित्यं च विद्यामन्थनं नित्यं हि विद्यासर्जनं नित्यं च विद्याजीवनम्
Thank you, all of you. Now we will take this opportunity to welcome the dignitaries on the dais by offering a book of Swami Vivekananda. I request Dr. Tushar Deshmukh sir to greet chairman of today's function, Honorable Dr. Sanjay Dudul sir, by offering book of Swami Vivekananda as a token of respect. Again, I request Dr. Tushar Deshmukh sir to greet chief guest of today's function, Honorable Dr. J.S. Pandey sir, by offering book of Swami Vivekananda as a token of respect and appreciation. Thank you, sir. Now, I request Dr. Ravindra Sarode sir to welcome respected Dr. Tushar Deshmukh sir by offering a book. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Yogeshwar Kurwade sir to welcome respected Professor Sandeep Bagule sir. Thank you, sir. Sir C.V. Raman was awarded with the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1930 for his discovery for Raman effect. We also celebrate this National Science Day to appreciate the efforts of individual organizations who are working to help India reach to the peak of science and technology and make the lives of the people with the help of science and technology. So theme of this year's Science Day is Integrated Approach in Science and Technology for Sustainable Future, which was supported by Rajiv Gandhi Science and Technology Commission, Government of Maharashtra. We always motivate and encourage our students by arranging different activities through this National Science Day. So to know more about this event, I think all of us are eagerly waiting to know more about this event. So I request Professor Sandeep Bagule sir, coordinator of this event, to give welcome address as well as introductory remark.
Our source of inspiration, Professor Dr. Dilip Malkhede sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sant Gadge Baba Amravati University, Professor Dr. Vilas Bhale sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Panjabrao Deshmukh Krishi Vidyapith Akola, the chairman of today's function, Professor Sanjay Dudul sir, Dean, Faculty of Science and Technology, Chief guest of today's function, Dr. J.S. Pandey sir, former Professor and Chairman, Academy of Scientific and Innovation Research, CSIR, Niri, Nagpur, Professor Tushar Deshmukh sir, Registrar of this university, and of the dais, all the heads of the departments, professors, all the faculty members, Senate members, Management Council members, and my dear students. Every year, our university celebrate this National Science Day. This year also, this celebration of Science Day, we done up to the 15 March. From this 28th February of inaugural day to the 15 March, that is a valedictory function. So behind this is that the history, that is a National Science Day. Actually, it is celebrated on the discovery of the Raman effect on 20th of February 1928. And after 2 years, just 2 years, this effect awarded the Nobel Prize. So actually, this research is from 1923. Raman has research on two topics, that is optics and acoustics. So this optics is nothing but there is a quantum of photons, and acoustic is nothing but the quantum of the phonon. That these are the, but this is a scattering, just as people or the other scientists that said about this is only the scattering, but this is not a regular scattering. Actually, it is a scattering of the light that contains the lower as well as a higher wavelength. So that's why it is called as a Raman scattering. So this is the actually phenomena discovered by the Raman. And in 1954, the government of India honored with the first Bharat Ratna to Sir C.V. Raman. And in 1986, the National Council of Science and Technology Communication has asked to the government of India to designate this February 28 as a National Science Day. This is the history behind that. So from now, the academics, then research center and colleges, schools that celebrate this National Science Day. So in a similar way, we can also celebrate this day as a National Science Day in our university. Now, little bit about our university has changed the definition of the knowledge. Actually, the delivery of adopting the skill orientation among the students. And our students have started pursuing the new startups also. And as expected, our university has carried out the high quality of the research. That is a research publication in the international journals, then patentization, also the technology transfer. Means all these are only. Another is the internet chat session is there, and popular this science and technology exhibition. So on behalf of the steering committee, I appeal to all the students so participate in this program, and I request all the heads of the departments to encourage the students for the participation. Thank you very much.
Science and technology have played a very important role in the development of India after independence. So, since independence, priority has been given to the field of science. The intelligent use of science and technology is used to achieve new directions. Today, man has made lots of progress in the field of science and technology. In such a way, it has become impossible to live without technology. Technology has made our life simple and easy and convenient. I hope that everyone will agree that science and technology have led human civilization to achieve perfection in living. Thus, we cannot deny the importance of science and technology. The science of today is the technology of tomorrow. So one such person, eminent scientist, is here with us, who has great contribution in science and technology. Honorable Dr. J.S. Pandey sir. Sir joined NEERI in 1987, and he has guided project research fellows for their projects and research assignments leading to PhD and MTech degrees. He has more than 100 publications in reputed international and national journals. He has edited many books. Besides that, he has great contribution in the field of climate change research. The list is so big that I would like to quote some of his honors and awards. He has recipient of Rajya Sabha Kirti Samman in 2006, then Bharatendu Rajabhasha Sahitya Shiromani Samman in 2007. He was the first Secretary CSIR NEERI Nagpur, first member of NEERI Regional Advisory Board, North Region, offered by the honor of leading scientist of the world in 2006, which is inaugural membership of the International Biographical Center by Cambridge, England. So this eminent scientist is today with us, and we will take this opportunity to felicitate him. So I request Chairman of today's function, Dr. Dudul sir, to felicitate Dr. J.S. Pandey sir by offering shawl, shrifar and memento. Thank you, sir. He is a person who thinks that the future is created by what you will do today. So such a eminent scientist is here with us on this occasion of National Science Day. I request you, sir, to enlighten us on this occasion, please.
This is Corona effect. See, we are going to celebrate Raman's effect today, but Corona effect has overpowered all the effects. So, respected Professor Doodle, because he welcomed me with shawl and all, so I have to be grateful to him. Professor Tushar Deshmukh, when from the beginning, when we met, he's constantly smiling. That's a great inspiration. I think he must be appreciated for that. So I will request you all to clap in his favor. Very rare these days to find smiling faces. And even if we are smiling, there is a ban on smiling because we have to wear the mask and all that. So who sees this smile? So smile has become very difficult commodity. So wherever it is available, please avail it. Professor Sandeep Waghule, we have already nominated him for the most handsome professor of Amravati University Award. So I think it's such a pleasure meeting him. Mrs. Kodake, who is comparing the program today. Without her, I think we will all lose our existence. So till the program ends, we have to be very grateful to her. And if possible, after the program also. At the outset, it gives me immense pleasure to offer my gratitude to one of my beloved and old-time friend, Professor Anand Aswar, when he requested me to be the chief guest. It was once again a great honor because he has already invited me so many times to this beautiful university, and it's a lovely campus you have. So there was no scope for me for rejecting that offer, and I was so tempted. It was such a great relief after Corona's crisis, I cannot tell you. So I asked him, is it online or offline? Because the online sessions have been so boring for me for a long time. So he said offline. I said, I'm coming. It's almost like you are going to meet your wife just after the marriage. So I jumped and snatched that opportunity. But I am really so kind of him. I am so grateful to him that he invited me. Then he introduced me to Dr. Sandeep, and I learned from him that he had already visited Niri, so it gives me a double pleasure to be in company of such great people. I sat with her in the morning, and that room gave me the opportunity to revise what I have going to speak for this occasion, because you need some trial and error time for doing that. After a long time, I am giving a speech, so pardon me if it gets interrupted biophysically somewhere, but I will try my best. And I am grateful to the people in the audience. At least some of them have come. I was not expecting them also, because many of them would be living in the fear of Corona and all that problem. And then who has the time to listen to people these days, because so much of information is already available on Google and YouTube, If people listen to our lecture face to face, we have to be really grateful to them. And maybe sometimes we have to pay them some remuneration for listening to our lectures. I get reminded of a story. It happened in our IIT campus when I was a student at IIT Kharagpur. Those days also, somehow I was very friendly with many of my professors. So एक दिन मॉर्निंग में मैंने देखा, उस समय आईआईटी, इवन नाउ आई डोंट नो वेदर दे आर स्टिल दैट सिंपल, आईआईटी प्रोफेसर्स वर वेरी सिंपल, इवन मच सिंपलर देन अमरावती प्रोफेसर्स. अपने डायरेक्टर के पास ही बस एक कार थी, वो भी ऑफिशियल कार रहती थी. बाकी सारे प्रोफेसर साइकिल पर आते थे. ये मैं बताता हूँ, 1977 की बात, 1977 और 87 के बीच में मैं वहाँ था टिल माई पीएचडी. तो प्रोफेसर साइकिल पे आते थे. तो मैंने देखा एक हमारे प्रोफेसर सामने चले जा रहे हैं और साइकिल लेके भी वो पैदल ही चले जा रहे हैं. तो मैंने पूछा, सर व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम, यू वाई यू आर वॉकिंग विद द साइकिल? बोले, पांडे इट हैज गॉट पंक्चर्ड, व्हाट टू डू? सो आई सेड, सर I then you have to get it rectified. Said, okay, can you come with me? Let us enjoy some talking. Then we'll get it repaired and come. ठीक है, दोनों हम लोग चले गए. तो उनका क्लास 8:50 में शुरू हो रहा था और ये शायद 8:30 के आसपास की घटना है. हम लोग गए, रिपेयर होना शुरू हो गया. उस रिपेयर के प्रोसेस में अचानक मैंने देखा कि हमारे प्रोफेसर साहब कुछ बुदबुदाने लगे. ही इज टॉकिंग, मम्बलिंग समथिंग. मतलब सर क्या हो गया, यू आर टॉकिंग समथिंग? या आई एम 8:50 हो गया था, आई एम डिलीवरिंग माई लेक्चर. सर डिलीवरिंग योर लेक्चर हियर? यस, इट इज 8:50 माई लेक्चर टाइम, सो आई हैव स्टार्टेड माई लेक्चर. Then, but who is listening to you here? Then he looked at me and smiled. He said, who listens to me in the class also? Okay, so please don't feel bad. I will also not feel bad if you don't listen to me. But I would request that please do listen to my lecture. It will be helpful to you. In the morning, she was narrating some quote. Why we celebrate National Science Day must be, the underlying theme must be that we want to get inspired, because we want to do something similar to what Raman did. And probably those who are ambitious, they must be wanting some Nobel Prize also if Raman did. So why we should not get? So we should make that life inspiring. But what makes me sad is after Raman, we didn't get a single Nobel Prize. Why it must have happened? Sant Gadge Baba was a Sant. He opened an university. Who is more famous? People who are involved in the university from the beginning, or Sant Gadge Baba? Sant Gadge Baba didn't go to any university, and he became more famous. We are all living under the shelter of universities, Indian Institute of Technologies, Indian Institute of Managements, whatnot. There are so many IISs, triple IIs and all that. Still big awards have eluded us. Probably there is something somewhere wrong or amiss with our education system. Somewhere there is some problem. Either our educational systems are not working properly, or we are not giving the right education to the people, or the people who are giving education in different universities and institutions have themselves not been rightly educated, or our educational institutes have finally been reduced to just manufacturing companies which are manufacturing degrees, diplomas and certificates. Because if you listen to Einstein, he had said, education is not learning of facts. It is training the mind to think. And now put your hands on your heart and find out how much time are you really devoting to thinking. We have become machines for giving examinations, for collecting certificates, for degrees and all. Raman didn't indulge in any of these, so he got the Nobel Prize. Did we learn that from him? Sant Gadge Baba didn't indulge in on that. He became more famous than us. Do we really think over it? How many of the students or the faculty members, for that matter, really spend their time finding out what was the secret of success of Sant Gadge Baba? And how much do we really know what inspired Raman to finally get a Nobel Prize? How much time really we are giving? Most of the time, we are running after coaching institutions, professors who can give us better marks. In IT also we did. I'm not criticizing any particular institution or university. This is universally applicable to all the institutions, probably all over the world. If you look at it, they have become manufacturing companies. They are collecting monies and giving degrees. Effectively, if you look with a microscope, you will find out you give money and you get degrees. So we will not get the Nobel Prize. There is something really somewhere wrong. I get ample time to contemplate on these issues these days. One day I was thinking how I really became a scientist. To tell you very frankly and honestly confessing, at the age of 16 or 17, I didn't know what a scientist is. And I really didn't aspire to become a scientist. Circumstances forced me to get into IIT. The circumstances were like this. That period was almost like Corona period. It was 1975 to 77 period. Many of you would not have seen. It was an emergency period. Most of the educational institutes were closed. They were closed. Schools and colleges, they were closed. But lucky for me, I got ample time to prepare for IT. And I just thought this time it will be a preparation. Because from my town, no one had cracked JEE till that time. And coaching institutions and all, they were not there. Actually, it used to be an insult those days to really join a coaching institution. What has become a matter of pride these days was an insult, matter of insult those days. If you go to a tutor, then आपका लड़का पढ़ने में ठीक नहीं है, मतलब that was the stamp you will get. डल है क्या, उसको कुछ प्रॉब्लम है क्या, कुछ उसका ब्रेन काम नहीं करता है क्या, वो ट्यूशन के लिए जाता है, कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट के लिए जाता है. आजकल वही फैशनेबल हो गया. तो मेरे एक फुफेरे भाई थे. उस समय पैसे का भी बहुत महत्व हुआ करता था, तो लोग अनावश्यक पैसा बर्बाद भी नहीं करते थे. तो मैंने सोचा कि जब मैं श्योर नहीं हूं कि मेरा आईआईटी में हो और मैं केवल रिहर्सल करने के लिए दे रहा हूं जेई, तो अपना पैसा क्यों बर्बाद करना. तो अपने फुफेरे भाई का गाइड लिया और उसका प्रिपरेशन किया. The driving force was that my father had said the way things were going on in Bihar those days, somehow I have to get out of that state because the education system had gone into doldrums. So the only way out was for me to get to the institutions like this, IIT. Luckily for me, in the first attempt only, I don't know, God was kind to me. I cracked, went to IIT Kharagpur. उस समय IITs में, पूरे IITs में 2000 लोगों का सिलेक्शन हुआ होता है, 2000 जाते थे. तो ये बहुत बड़े समाज में प्रेस्टीज की बात होती थी. हमारे पिताजी ने मेरे लिए 3-piece सूट खरीदवा कर दे दिया कि बेटा वहाँ पढ़ना. आजकल तो क्योंकि उस समय ऐसा था माहौल कि सिंपल इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस में एडमिशन होता था तो मोटरसाइकिल और वो सब दे दी जाती थी. बहुत सारी चीज़ें, समाज में बहुत सारी भ्रांतियाँ. तो मैं लेके पहुँचा वहाँ पे. पहले 2-3 दिन के बीच का जो इनकाउंटर था, मैंने देखा है लिफ्ट के पास, आईआईटी के लिफ्ट के पास मेरा एक दोस्त खड़ा है और उसके पास एक बहुत ही स्मार्ट लुकिंग जेंटलमैन वाज स्टैंडिंग. वन स्मार्ट पर्सन इज हियर. सो मैं ध्यान से देखा, वेरी अट्रैक्टिव. लेकिन पाँव में देखा तो वो सिंपल चप्पल, स्लीपर जिसको बोलते हैं, बाथरूम स्लीपर पहने हुए था. लंच के समय मैं अपने दोस्त से मिला. बोला यार वो आदमी तो बहुत स्मार्ट था, वो तुम्हारे हेड ऑफ द डिपार्टमेंट का पीए था क्या? तो he really looked very brilliant fellow, but PA I thought because he was not wearing shoes. अपना नॉर्मल कन्वेंशन ये है. So my friend smiled. He said he was not PA. He was head of the department himself, Professor Keshav Murthy. And his name was that high those days. If he writes a recommendation for you, you will get into most of the best institutions in USA those days without cracking GRE and TOEFL. He was such an international authority in his discipline and such a great simplicity. So my mind then moved, and to tell you very frankly, वो 3-piece suit मैं IIT खड़गपुर में कभी नहीं पहना. और बाद में एक बार वो ऐसे बर्बाद हो रहा तो मैंने अपने बेटे से पूछा एक बार पहनना है क्या पार्टी में, तो पहन लो यार. वो तो मैं पहन नहीं सका. IIT Kharagpur had that kind of serenity. You require that kind of an environment to really get into the disciplines, the business of science. Business of science, I don't mean by money of science. Today, science is also oriented towards money only. First of all, you have to keep money aside, otherwise you will probably never get a Nobel Prize. So then my brain started getting trained in a different area. Other thing which I discovered, because when we used to be toppers of our classes and universities and institutions, then our head is nowhere. So we think no end of ourselves. In IIT, everyone is a topper. Just imagine 2,000 people ranked between what? 300 marks. English was just qualifying those days. Mathematics, physics and chemistry. This 300 marks and 2,000 people are selected. You can imagine the difference between the first and the last one would be fraction of a digit. That was the difference. Everyone was intelligent and at IIT. So unless until you start thinking in a new way, you will not make a mark in IIT. So I have to do a lot of new things. We started a lot of things for our department with a lot of magazines, many ways of new thinking. My training and placement center, I think I have T.S. Rao or someone, he was the in charge there. With all the professors, I started interaction. My father's ambition was to see me as an IAS officer. But then my professors brainwashed me. Bengal is a different region. So my professors told, no, that job is good for nothing. And finally, I liked IIT environment so much that I wanted to stay put there. And in the morning only I think I was describing that story to someone. Even after getting selected at NIRI, my father didn't believe that I will leave IIT and come. So he sent my younger brothers. So pack him bag and baggage and bring him to Nagpur. So my younger brother had come to IIT Kharagpur because everyone was in love with me. Professors, starting with mess workers to the director of IIT. I had very good relations, to tell you very frankly. Professors were madly in love with me. So I came to National Environmental Engineering Research Institute, called NIRI in short, very unwillingly in 1987. And then we had a very dynamic professor called Professor Khanna. Whatever NIRI is today is mainly because of that person who put NIRI on that kind of a pedestal that still its existence cannot be ignored. I had done my PhD work on relativistic quantum mechanics. My PhD topic was surface states and allied aspects. Did you understand anything from it? No. It was a theoretical work questioning. In semiconductor physics, we have something called chronic penning model. Many of you might have heard of it. So challenging the validity of chronic penning model for finite crystal. Its application is in semiconductor physics and in electronics. And it deals with the kind of energy bands, valence band and conductance bands which are responsible for optical transitions, including Raman effect. So I was in a different kind of a world. When I came here, Professor Khanna assigned me the job of dealing with climate change, ozone layer depletion, ecological modeling. I lost my nerves. So one day in the library, I was just putting with my legs up and just sitting, contemplating when to leave this place. Professor Khanna was a very dynamic man. I mean, if he comes looking at his shadow, there were notorious people who would fear his shadow also. They will just run away. So I was sitting in the library and suddenly I found the whole library stood up. So I looked back, I saw this tall gentleman is standing behind me. So he said, what is happening? So I told him, because IIT Kharagpur is a very plain place where the students and professors are also very frank. So I said, sir, nothing is happening. So he said, what happened? Well, nothing is getting into my head. I said, okay, come with me. Then I went with him. Then he drew some 3-4 books. I wish many of the vice chancellors also do similar kind of thing, the interaction with the students. Drew some 3-4 books and he said, read them for 15 days and then come and meet me. So I went there. I read some few things I liked, because finally I found that physics is really, then I realized that physics is mother of all sciences. Even biology has emanated. Most of the instruments which biologists are using, little do they realize they're based on physics principles only. Without a microscope, you can't see anything. You can't do any biological experiment. Physics is so omnipresent, and electron transfer is there in whether chemistry reaction or it's the biology. Without electron, you have nothing. So I went, met him. He said, yes. I said, sir, I have understood something, but it will take some time. But I have not understood one thing. Why did you select me to this institute? Because nothing seems to be common between what this institute does and what PhD I did. Professor Khanna smiled and said, very good. I think I didn't expect any scientist who would come and ask me this question, why you have selected, but you have that audacity to ask me. I will give you a really befitting reply. I said, your interview was the most attractive interview I have ever come across. And I was waiting for a person. And I want to transform this conventional NEERI into an international NEERI. And if I had to select you for doing what has been NEERI doing so far, I would not have needed you. I saw that you have the potential to do something which NEERI doesn't have. That's why I have selected you. And please don't come back to me and tell that NEERI has been doing this and I want to continue this. I am fed up with this. I want this institute must do something new, which is remarkable, which launches us on the international platform, which he finally achieved. And that was my job to do that. So all that I did at NEERI was every 3-4 months I have to go and give Professor Khanna totally new idea which has not been done in NEERI at all. So I worked on things called ecosystem health. First, he nominated me in the International Geosphere Biosphere program, which was a program, climate change program those days for India. And that is way back in 89, yeah. So actually, he was the member of the national committee, the meeting of which he never attended. I attended those meetings on his behalf because he found, can you find administrators, directors, vice chancellors of that kind? He believed that I know the subject much more than he does. So I deserve to be sitting on those platforms. I am attending those national climate change meetings before most of the nationally reputed climate change people are doing. So International Geosphere Biosphere program, my job was to do ecological modeling, ecosystem health assessment, health risk assessment, phytoremediation. Have you heard of these words? Yes, now you must have heard. Those words were unheard of, mainly especially in Indian context, and very little outside also. Together they make the discipline called ecological engineering. It's not there in any of Indian universities. any of the Indian Institute of Technologies. And higher than that is human engineering. Whatever degrees, whatever diplomas we have finally collected, they can be translated into the social utility only when you know the applications of human engineering. Otherwise, you will not find people not holding degrees are dictating you. Why it has happened? That is in one go the futility of education. A person having all the degrees on the earth is being dictated, maybe dictated by a person who doesn't have any degree. Then why do you hold a degree? Why do we really continue with that kind of education, which is making us lame? We have to serve under someone who doesn't have that education. Is it not a futility of education? The other futility of education is this war which is going on between two nations. See, when we get educated, there is something called Human Development Index. Human Development Index, which is quantified by the following parameters: education, employment, health, and economics. Now, education is the mother of all the rest of it. Without education, you will not get employment. Without education, you don't know how to live life, so you will not get a good health. And economy will not prosper if the education is not there. The education is the most important. And we are all feeling, because we have collected so many degrees, that we are much more educated than my grandfather was. Either on the mother side or father side, right? Because many of our grandfathers, at least our grandfathers, didn't have that degree with them. So we must be thinking we are very highly educated. And if you are highly educated and more developed, then tendency of fighting should increase or decrease? Answer: increase or decrease? Any young? Should decrease. So the number of wars should increase or decrease? Decrease. The necessity for having wars, weapons of defense should increase or decrease? Decrease. So our defense budget should increase or decrease? Should decrease. But is it decreasing? World over, it is going on increasing. The solution to most of the social problems, and especially environmental problems, lies in Ministry of Defense of any country for that matter. And if we really feel we are more developed and more educated, we should have less tendencies for waging a war against our neighbors. Are we really doing it? If all the countries all over the world, sit down in UN and decide that here is the time, instead of increasing our defense budget every year by 5%, we would decrease it every year by 5%. Our economy will improve, our environment will improve, our society will improve. We have the defense budget of most of the countries, it must be similar institution, would be around 100 times more than the budget for environment. Are we really bothered about protecting the environment? And if you really destroy the environment, you will have nothing to survive on. Because environment gives you food, environment gives you shelter, environment gives you clothing. If these three things, if you are bereft of, then how will you live? This no one is realizing, and no one is giving that education. But I know this prescription which I am giving will not happen. Why it will not happen? Why it will not happen is because we have not been given the right education right at the primary level. We have never been made to think like that, that environment is more important for our survival. What is more important for us? Get a degree from IIT, get a degree from IIM or any reputed national institutions, earn big money. These days people are not saying also where they are working. My son and daughter is in USA. What they are doing, who is bothered? He is possessing Jaguar, Mercedes. In India also, why we are earning? To procure a better vehicle, better mahal, better clothings, right? Is this the real purpose of education? But is any teacher in any educational institution trying to embed these concepts into your mind? And if you speak too much like that, people will say, अरे सब बोलने दो, बोलने से थोड़ा ही कुछ होता है, हमको तो जो करना है करेंगे. This is the attitude of the society, because अपने को जीना रहना है, जीते रहना है. Education was not meant for that kind of a purpose. और जीते रहने का काम तो बिना uneducated लोग भी कर रहे हैं या नहीं? I will give you some quotes from Feynman and Einstein, who are my favorite. So the solution lies ultimately in the Ministry of Human Resources and Development. We have to change the pattern of education. And most importantly, in universities it is too late, primary education. But are we giving that education? And how will it be given when primary school teachers are under the biggest frustration? Professors are also, my father was himself a professor of English. And he used to say, who knows, once out of fed up with ragging, I wanted to leave IIT Kharagpur. He said, come back. Who knows the futility of education more than I would? Professor of that time. So I can imagine the situation of professors at the moment. And more than the professors, primary school teacher would be frustrated. And what can I give to someone? What I have. I can give you money only when I have more money than you. And if I am more frustrated than you, what will I give you? Then what kind of children we will have? और बचपन में पहले 10 साल तक जो भी संस्कार मनुष्य में डाल दिए जाते हैं, उन संस्कारों से निजात पाना कितना मुश्किल होता है, वो मुझे जितना मालूम है उतना आप लोगों को भी मालूम होगा. हम इवन टूथपेस्ट भी नहीं बदल सकते हैं बाद में. अगर क्लोजअप का इस्तेमाल किया है तो वही करते रहेंगे, जिसने कोलगेट का इस्तेमाल किया है वही करता रहेगा. उतना भी नहीं बदल सकते. तो अगर हमने सही शिक्षा प्राइमरी स्कूल में नहीं दी तो हम समाज में कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते. और वो शुरू का 10 साल बहुत ही वाइटल है. और हम आज जिस तरह की प्रक्रिया से गुजर रहे हैं, जिस तरह के सामाजिक द्वंद्वों से गुजर रहे हैं, जिस तरह की परेशानियों से गुजर रहे हैं, उसका मूल कारण यही है कि अधिकांश लोगों के प्राइमरी एजुकेशन ठीक ढंग से नहीं हुए. तो अगर आपकी इम्यूनिटी सिस्टम, जो कोरोना में बार बार बात आ रही है, और कोरोना हैज रियली टोल्ड अस व्हाटएवर वी नो is useless. We couldn't tackle a nanoparticle. What use is that education? Whether it's medical education, engineering education, or education of science, what use it is? You can't fight with a small virus. And then we have missiles, we have what not. Fight with corona, you should have eliminated this challenges to all the greatest people on the earth. That's the futility of education. So education system has to be totally revamped. There is absolutely no doubt about it. If we really want to protect education, if we want to be earner, another business kind of a thing, good. That's another way of looking at it. So we have to decide, and that's why my heart pinches when I celebrate, when I am invited as a chief guest. I'm very happy. Obviously, it gives me an opportunity to speak frankly, speak out my mind. But what pinches me is, after Raman, there was no second Raman. At least after Tendulkar, we had a Virat Kohli. After Raman, there is no Raman. Is it a good Raman? Raman means Brahman, you know. Is it a good Raman? We have to seriously think about it. And in none of the four of this discussion is going on. Most of the discussions are how to conduct examinations, how to make JEE more difficult, how to make percentile and percent grades and all. These are the kind of discussions. I used to fight with some people in IIT system also. Bessel functions, Laplace transforms, lot of things which is being taught to us. And Kabir Das told us, Pothi padi padi jagmua, Pandit bhayanak hoye. वो कैसेट सुन तो लेते हैं हम लोग, और उसके बाद फिर से वो किताबें पढ़ने बैठ जाते हैं. बच्चों से जब मैं पूछता हूँ एक सेमेस्टर के बाद, this is because I have been conducting interviews for 30 years now almost. I was the human resources head of my institute also. पिछले सेमेस्टर में कौन कौन से सब्जेक्ट थे? बच्चे वो भी भूल गए। इतनी मोटी मोटी किताबें पढ़ाने की क्या जरूरत है? उतना ही पढ़ाइए जो बच्चे आत्मसात कर सके, उतना ही खाइए जितना आप पचा सके। एंड व्हाट इज ट्रू ऑफ फूड इज ट्रू ऑफ एकेडमिक्स ऑल्सो। उससे ज्यादा आप खाएंगे दिमाग से तो आप दूसरों का दिमाग खाएंगे और फिर वॉमिटिंग करते जाएंगे, और वही हो रहा है। We must know that ratio we should be put in, or otherwise it's a solid waste. If I don't remember what were the subjects I was taught, what use is that curriculum? और इतनी बड़ी बड़ी पोथियां पढ़ा रहे हैं। So ultimately, to tell you it's a very serious matter. I mean, we can crack jokes on it. It's a very serious matter. All of us are responsible for that. जो पढ़ रहे हैं वो भी रिस्पॉन्सिबल है, जो पढ़ा रहे हैं वो भी रिस्पॉन्सिबल है, जो सिलेबस बना रहे हैं वो भी रिस्पॉन्सिबल है। बनाने की क्या जरूरत है? पता करो बच्चों के दिमाग में क्या जा रहा है, उतना ही पढ़ाओ। जो जेन्युइन आईआईटी के लड़के, आपको बता दूं, बीटेक के बाद एमटेक भी नहीं करना चाहते। इट यूज टू बी ए डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन एट आवर एमटेक यू आर डूइंग, अच्छा कुडंट यू प्रोक्योर जॉब आफ्टर बीटेक? उतना ही पढ़ेंगे जितने की उसकी जरूरत है। आप उससे ज्यादा पढ़ेंगे, आप खा के देखिए, आपको 2 पराठा आप पचा सकते हैं, आप 12 पराठा खा के देखिए क्या होता है। Exactly the same thing is happening. People who are mad after money, even to them I tell them, I would have been very happy. People who are making money in the society, make it, if it makes you happier. मैं अगर 10 रुपया कमाता हूं और मेरे चेहरे पे दिन में 2 बार स्माइल आता है, तो जो 100 रुपया कमाता है उसके चेहरे पे 20 बार स्माइल आता, तो मैं भी बोलता यार तुम भी कमाओ, मैं भी कमाओ, सबको कमाना चाहिए। बट मैं तो देखता हूं जो सबसे ज्यादा कमा रहा है वो सबसे ज्यादा दुखी है, और वो उसकी भी पैसे के प्रति भूख उतनी ही है जितनी 100 रुपए के लिए जो लड़ रहा है उस आदमी की है। कोरोना काल में ये भी देखे होंगे आपने, बॉम्बे में बहुत सारी चीजें आई, बहुत सारे बड़े बड़े स्टार्स आए जिनकी की रोज की आमदनी करोड़ रुपए है, रोज की आमदनी। यहाँ एक प्रोफेसर दिन रात पसीना बहाता है तो शायद जिंदगी के अंत में 1 करोड़ इकट्ठा कर पाता है, वहां रोज 1 करोड़ इकट्ठा कर पा रहे हैं। गलती उनकी नहीं है, गलती उस समाज की है जिसने उस तरह की व्यवस्था बनाई है कि कुछ व्यक्ति घंटों में ही करोड़ कमा सकते हैं और दूसरे के पसीने बहते रहे, वो सिलेबस बनाते रहे। Why professors didn't realize this, I also don't understand. आप सिलेबस बनाते रहिए और उस बीच में मनोरंजन करके लोग घंटों में 1 करोड़ बना लेंगे। सारे चैनल्स उसी पे तो चल रहे हैं ना, टीआरपी बढ़ रहे हैं और ये सब। ऑल दिस इज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ रॉन्ग एजुकेशन। और व्यथा मुझे तब होती है कि वो करने वाला भी आदमी जब खुश नहीं रहता है, उसे भी रात को सोने के लिए ड्रग्स का सहारा लेना पड़ता है, तब मुझे दुख होता है। क्यों कर रहा है वो? पैसा कुछ नहीं है, पैसा पौधे का, शी इज प्रोफेसर ऑफ बॉटनी, शी नोज बेटर देन, पौधे का एक परिवर्तित रूप है। पेपर बनता है पौधे से ही बनता है, डाई बनती है ना, उसके ऊपर महात्मा गांधी का फोटो लगा दिया, रुपया हो गया, अब्राहम लिंकन का लगा दिया, डॉलर हो गया। वो फॉरेस्ट प्रोडक्ट है, वो भी पौधे से बना है। कॉइन्स भी जो आते हैं वो मिट्टी के भीतर ही होते हैं, उनसे फिर वो मेटल्स निकाले जाते हैं और उनसे कॉइन बना जाते हैं। दैट इज जस्ट ए कन्वर्टेड फॉर्म एंड एन इकोलॉजिकल एंटिटी विच इज एग्जिस्टिंग बिफोर यू। यू आर मैड आफ्टर दिस and you are destroying that other one. The other one is giving that vital oxygen all the time during corona, which was responsible for most of the deaths. लोगों को ऑक्सीजन नहीं मिला, वो फैक्ट्री में बनाएंगे। यहाँ भगवान ने फैक्ट्री खुली मुफ्त के रखी है, वो उसको लेने के लिए किसी के पास वक्त नहीं है। तो आपने अगर ये डिसाइड ही कर दिया है कि हम भगवान के पास केवल जाके नमस्कार करेंगे, भगवान से कुछ सीखेंगे नहीं, तो कौन बचा सकता है? और उसका ही परिणाम हम लोगों ने कोरोना के समय भुगता है। सारे मंदिर क्यों बंद कर दिए गए? मैं मजाक में लोगों से बोलता हूं कि भगवान समझ गए कि ये मानव जाति की जो श्रृंखला है वो एक दूसरे को तो बेवकूफ़ बना ही रही है, मुझे भी बेवकूफ़ बना रही है। अपने इनको शुगर की बीमारी है, खुद मिठाई नहीं खाते और गणेश जी के पास 55 किलो का गिफ्ट लेके चले जाते हैं। तो गणेश जी को समझ में नहीं आता है, ये बेवकूफ़ खुद नहीं डायबिटीज का शिकार होना चाहता है, मुझे शिकार बना रहा है। वहां पे जाके 10 रुपये हम चंदा के लिए डालते हैं और मन में सोचते हैं भगवान मेरा वो 1 लाख की लॉटरी लग जाती, और वहां भगवान को सब कुछ मालूम है। एक तरफ भगवान को सब मालूम है तो वो ये भी पता कर लेगा तुम्हारे मन में क्या है। और 99.9999 लोग तो उसके चलते ही जाते हैं। तो भगवान ने बोला कोरोना डालो और हमारे मंदिर बंद करो, इन बेवकूफ लोगों से नहीं मिलना। दैट्स द स्टेट ऑफ अफेयर्स। Whatever we are learning, we are not, this example is to tell you whatever we are learning, we are not applying in the practical life. एग्जाम पास करने के लिए एक शिक्षा है, प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ के लिए दूसरी शिक्षा है। फिर कैसे हम नोबेल प्राइज लेंगे? और नोबेल प्राइज की जरूरत भी क्या है? जो लोगों को नोबेल प्राइज नहीं मिला, कृपया वो निराश भी नहीं हो, क्योंकि अपना गोल नोबेल प्राइज लेना होना चाहिए क्या? किसी का गोल प्राइज लेने के लिए आप जो कर रहे हैं वो तो एक तुच्छ चीज हो जाती है। भगवान गीता में भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने कितनी बार कहा, मां फलेषु कदाचन कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मां फलेषु, फल की चिंता मत करो। तो अगर हम साइंस करेंगे नोबेल प्राइज लेने के लिए, क्या साइंस किया? फिर तो बहुत सारे पापड़ बेलने पड़ेंगे। बहुत सारे अवार्ड्स तो बहुत सारे, अभी वो आया ही, कितने अवार्ड्स कंट्रोवर्सी में आए। साइंस प्योर शुद्ध मन और हृदय से जो करेगा वही सच्चा साइंटिस्ट है। और सच्चा साइंटिस्ट होने के लिए आपको किसी यूनिवर्सिटी, आईआईटी और यहाँ पे होने की जरूरत भी नहीं। वो कृषक भी एक अच्छा साइंटिस्ट है, उसको मालूम है कि वो सीएनपी रेशियो किस तरह से मेंटेन करना है फील्ड में, मेरे से ज्यादा अच्छे से मालूम है। मैं बैठ के उसके लिए बेसल फंक्शंस और लाप्लास ट्रांसफॉर्म लिख दूंगा, बट वो किसान को मालूम है कितना क्या डालने से, क्या कॉम्बिनेशन डालने से अच्छी फसल आती है। वो साइंटिस्ट नहीं है क्या? साइंटिस्ट के लिए पीएचडी डिग्री होना कोई जरूरी नहीं है। हम लोगों ने डिग्री, डिप्लोमा, मनी, डॉलर, रुपीस के आडंबर में अपने आप को इतना संकुचित और सफोकेटेड बना दिया है कि हम ठीक से सांस भी नहीं ले सकते। कृपया उससे उभर कर बाहर आइए। जिंदगी में और भी कई चीजें हैं। मैं जिंदगी को उस दहलीज पर खड़ा हूं जहां पहले ही मुझे फ्यूटाइल लगता था, अब तो और भी फ्यूटाइल लगता है। इन सब चीजों का कोई महत्व नहीं है। Futility of money. If you see great people, I have given examples, I don't want to take their names. You go and find out, they would have as much suffering as you have. Suffering is, there is no mathematical equation which makes it directly proportional. Suffering, इतना पैसा रहेगा तो आप इतना खुश रहेंगे, कोई इक्वेशन ही नहीं है। 5 ज्ञानेंद्रिय और 5 कर्मेंद्रिय हमको दी गई है। पता नहीं आज के बच्चों को organs of senses and organs of actions and deeds. The heart of living is, once these biorhythms of all these organs, if they are synchronized, you are the richest person on the earth. You may be having billions and trillions of dollars in your bank. जब यहाँ पे एक दांत भी दर्द करता है ना, तो अपना बैंक अकाउंट में पैसा जमा हुआ याद नहीं आता है, दांत याद आता है और दांत का डॉक्टर याद आता है। So any small aberration in the biorhythm of the organs which God has given to us makes us poor. So remember, health is so important, and now that Corona has taught us, most of our science initiatives should be directed towards protection of human health. Do whatever, how many Nobel Prize winners they are already there. How many of us could save us from Corona? And this is one Corona. Believe me, I am doubtful many more Coronas will keep on coming. Now the way it is happening, the kind of research which is going on in that area. So unless until our scientific efforts are able to protect our health, it's of no use. So integration of all, that's the theme of today's theme, is that integrated approach towards sustainable development. Now another thing which I will tell you, even people have not understood what is sustainable development. They have not understood what is development at all. Development is not mere road construction. How much time are we really giving to human development ideally? कितना भी बड़ा रोड बना ले, अगर चेहरे सबके सब कुंभलाए हुए हैं, what kind of development it is? So we must first define development in concrete engineering terms, then only we can design for it. If we do not have a definition of development in concrete engineering terms, how can I design for it? That's one. And sustainable development is different from continuous development. What is sustainable development is, in ecological engineering, whatever is happening on the earth is finally due to the interaction of sun and earth. People say solar energy, solar energy. How? Many people don't realize that any energy on the earth for that matter is solar energy. It's a converted. How is coal formed? How is oil formed? वो पौधा फोटोसिंथेसिस हुई, पौधा हुआ, पौधे का पत्ता आया, वो गिरा, वो फॉसिलाइज्ड हुआ, बिलियन ईयर्स लगे, पेट्रोल डीजल वैसे ही बनता है, कोल वही बनता है. It's a solar energy only. It's a contribution of photosynthesis. You can only convert everything, including nuclear energy is the first energy. On the earth is solar energy only. Don't get obsessed by having solar panels. That's an electronics engineering marketing. We are not understanding. So sustainable processes on the earth would be only those processes which are oscillatory in nature. Sun rises in the morning, sets in the evening. So if you plot the graph over a year, it will appear like that, simple harmonic motion. Those who have done 10th and 12th standard physics, simple harmonic motion. Earth rotates, comes back to the same position. So our governing forces, like in electronics engineering, our inputs are oscillatory in nature. So only those outputs which will be oscillatory will be sustainable. Meaning what goes up comes down. पौधा पत्ते आते हैं, फिर चले जाते हैं बसंत के जस्ट पहले. वो कौन सा मौसम रहता है बसंत के पहले? आजकल मेमोरी भी ठीक से काम नहीं कर रही है बिकॉज ऑफ द साइड इफेक्ट्स. नहीं, वो क्या बोलते, पतझड़. पतझड़ में सारे पत्ते झड़ जाते हैं बिकॉज ऑफ द साइड इफेक्ट्स ऑफ सो मेनी मेडिसिन. ओके, सो पतझड़ में सारे पत्ते झड़ जाते हैं, फिर बसंत में आते हैं. सो द ग्राफ गोज अप, कम्स डाउन. You cannot have an exponentially rising graph. So sustainable development would be only the development सुबह से शाम तक. We have to oscillate between happiness and unhappiness. You have to learn that art of living. Music, it's like music. So unless until we synchronize the music of those 10 organs, 5 ज्ञानेंद्रियों, 5 कर्मेंद्रिय, हमको कभी भी खुशी नहीं मिलेगी. बड़ा से बड़ा अवार्ड दे दीजिए, आपको नोबेल प्राइज ही बना दे, नेक्स्ट ईयर अगेन इफ यू अप्लाई एंड यू डोंट गेट, then again you will lose that happiness. Right? Topper of this year will become unhappy next year if he is not the topper. So happiness, and they are not sustainable. So you have to learn that art. This is what will make you sustainable. So integrated approach. इतना सारी बातें मैंने किया, तो वो सारी इसलिए कि I have done that interdisciplinary research. So there is need in universities for encouraging that kind of research. वैसी पढ़ाई पढ़ाना ही क्यों जो आपको कूप मंडूक बना दे, कि आप बस उतना ही जानते हैं. जैसे हमारे फिजिक्स में भी होता था, न्यूक्लियर फिजिसिस्ट, दे विल नॉट एंटर सेमीकंडक्टर फिजिक्स लैब. सेमीकंडक्टर में भी फिर डाइलेक्ट्रिक्स लैब, आई थिंक ही वुड बी फेमस, डाइलेक्ट्रिक्स लैब, ल्यूमिनेसेंस लैब अलग. करने की क्या जरूरत है? दैट इंटीग्रेटेड. नाउ वी आर रियलाइजिंग वी शुड इंटीग्रेट. वी शुड ऑलवेज have an integrated approach. वो सारा कुछ, एक हमारा हाथ, मेरा मुंह बहुत अच्छा बोलता है, आप मेरा मुंह काट के अलग कर सकते क्या? It is important only when it is in my body, integrated system. Similar truth is about medicines also. वो अलग अलग दे देते हैं ना, ये खा लीजिए विटामिन बी, खा लीजिए विटामिन डी, वो काम नहीं करेगा. एक वो आपको वही फल खाना पड़ेगा या वही जीव जंतु जो भी हो, मैं वेजिटेरियन हूँ इसलिए फलों की बात करूंगा, जिसमें वो इंटीग्रेटेड वे में विटामिन अवेलेबल हो. बाकी आप में रहेगा ही नहीं, इसलिए आपको बार बार खाना पड़ता है, क्योंकि हम क्विक सॉल्यूशन से आते हैं. और नेवर बी आफ्टर क्विक सॉल्यूशंस, दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. तो हम लोगों का जो होना था तो हो गया, हम भी बड़े हो गए, आपके प्रोफेसर लोग भी बड़े हो गए. बट यंगर जनरेशन में अगर ये शिक्षा के बीज बोए जाते हैं, शायद उनका कुछ उपकार हो जाए. अपना जो था वो तो हो गया, वो गालिब का जमाना तो चला गया. लेकिन आप अगर अपना उपकार कर सकें तो मुझे खुशी होगी, नहीं भी कर सके तो मुझे चिंता मत जो चिंता मत कीजिए, वो 3 इडियट्स की फिलोसफी है, भगवान ने सबको बनाया है अपना, वो फिलोसफी आप फॉलो कर सकते हैं. Ultimately, that is the truth, I will tell you, because we were in the morning only discussing the size of the universe. I asked my son, what is the size of the universe? So I said it should be around 10 to the power 23 kilometers. He said, Nene Papa, it is 8.8 into 10 to the power 26 meters. I said, convert it into kilometers. So it becomes 10 to the power 23 kilometers. Ah, yes, yes, yes. 10 to the power 23 किलोमीटर्स. हम लोग 1 किलोमीटर जब ऊपर जाते हैं आकाश में, तो जमीन पे क्या हो रहा है पता नहीं चलता है. कोई आदमी दिखता है क्या? प्लेन से कोई आदमी दिखता है? नहीं दिखता. 10 to the power 23 किलोमीटर्स. इमेजिन, वहां से अगर कोई देख रहा होगा तो हमारी क्या एंटिटी है? नॉट इवन मॉस्किटो, वी आर नॉट इवन कोरोना वायरस. दैट इज आवर स्टेट ऑफ अफेयर्स, दैट्स आवर आइडेंटिटी इन यूनिवर्स. And then we will think we are the president of this big important country. Is God waiting for your designation? By designation, probably you can become a chief guest, but you will not become a human being. My underlying theme is we should create not engineers, scientists, sociologists. We should create good human beings. That should be the fundamentals of our education. No matter what grade degree I have, no matter how much money I have, no matter what designation I am holding, if I am not a good human being, I could never become as famous as Vivekananda is, as famous as Sant Gadge Baba is, as famous as Rashtra Sant Tukloji Maharaj is. So learn from these inspirations. We have become celebrating entities. We know how to celebrate Mahatma Gandhi's birthday, 2nd October. माला पहना दिया. Ask any parent, अपने बच्चे को महात्मा गांधी बनाएंगे क्या? Ask him or her, अमिताभ बच्चन बनाएंगे क्या? शाहरुख खान बनाएंगे क्या? ऐश्वर्या राय बनाएंगे क्या? Then why are you worshipping Mahatma Gandhi? What is the use calling him Rashtrapita? No one wants to follow. No one wants to become Mahatma Gandhi. So let us not become people of that kind, that we know how to garland, we know how to show agarbatti, how to light a lamp. We should really get the light of the lamp. We should get out of that business of lighting a lamp. We should use the lamp for lighting our minds. That's what is important. Let me see if India can really create another Vivekananda. Can India create another Mahatma Gandhi? Can India create another C.V. Raman? Then we should be really proud of that nation. Tomorrow, instead of waging wars, if we have been able to say that in the whole world we have reduced the number of wars, the number of patients, the number of doctors, the number of diseases, the number of drugs, the number of medicine shops, then we are really developed. Development is not opening every day a new hospital and inaugurating. Development is not producing everyday doctors and sending 1 million patients to them. Development is not producing engineers and the bridges are breaking in almost all the states just after their construction. The development's definition should be properly understood, then quantified, such that it makes it amenable to medical and engineering applications. Then we need to really feel proud of our being Indian and proud of our nation. Otherwise, it is all a beauty parlor, and we must get out of those beauty parlors, academic beauty parlors. That's the message I would like to give on this auspicious occasion of National Science Day. It should not be reduced to celebrating Raman's contributions alone. It should really be in the area of being proud. Every day, every year, we have been able to produce a Raman of the similar kind, then only it holds water. Otherwise, we'll say we had one law drama and now everyone is misbehaved person in the society. That's not the way our celebration should be aimed at. And I think some crowd has increased. That makes me encouraged, because every speaker feels energized if he sees the audience strength is increasing. So like more number of patients come, doctor is increased. So we have many academic patients, and what is mostly required is ब्रेन मैनेजमेंट. और बच्चों को अगर ब्रेन नहीं मैनेज किया कुछ भी, पेरेंट्स आर द बेस्ट टीचर्स. वी नीड टू टीच द पेरेंट्स. दैट इज अनदर मैसेज आई वांट टू. अगर पेरेंट्स को नहीं बताया तो कुछ भी नहीं होगा. बच्चा कितनी भी बड़ी यूनिवर्सिटी से पढ़ के जाए और घर के भीतर पापा मम्मी झगड़ा कर रहे हैं, नथिंग इज गोइंग टू इम्प्रूव इन द सोसाइटी. पेरेंट्स आर द बेस्ट एजुकेशनिस्ट. और अगर हमको सोसाइटी इम्प्रूव करनी है तो ऐसी यूनिवर्सिटी बनानी, पेरेंट्स यूनिवर्सिटी ऐसा बनाना पड़ेगा. पहले पेरेंट्स को एजुकेट करें. और अभी तो मजाक मजाक में बोलता हूँ, सबसे बड़ा तो ये है डिग्री देने का क्राइटेरिया होना चाहिए कि ट्रैफिक में कौन कैसे बिहेव करता है. सी उन ओल्ड पर्सन, वो कार में बैठ गया, मान लीजिए आपकी कार स्टक हो गई. एक दो बार ऐसा हुआ, कार स्टक हो गई. अब आप कार स्टार्ट नहीं कर सकते. आप पीछे जितनी कार, अमरावती में शायद उतना नहीं होता, इतना जोर से हॉर्न बजाते हैं. एंड नो वन इज बॉदर्ड. मान लीजिए कोई फेंट ही कर गया है आगे, नो वन इज बॉदर्ड टू कम एंड सी दैट. दे आर आवर फेलो इंडियंस. वी आर प्राउड ऑफ आवर सिटीजन्स. पाकिस्तानी रहेगा तो मार के फेंक देंगे हम, बोले हैं आप अपने इंडियंस ही हैं, वो अपने दोस्त. कई बार तो लोग मजाक में वो पूछना शुरू करते हैं ना, आपके जब मैट्रिमोनियल्स वगैरह के होते हैं, आपके रिलेटिव्स ये कहाँ है, भाई कहाँ है, बहन. बोला भीम का भाई कौन था? दुर्योधन. दुर्योधन को मारा किसने? भीम. मोरल ऑफ द स्टोरी इज भाई भाई को मारता है. फिर हम पूछते हैं हमारा भाई वो है, हमारा ये हो बन गया, हमारा रिलेटिव ये बन गया, तो वो चीफ मिनिस्टर बन गया, मेरा काम हो जाएगा. अरे भैया, हमारा इतिहास ऐसा है कि भाई भाई ही मारता है. अशोक ने अपने 99 भाइयों को खत्म कर दिया, है ना. उस जगह पे हम सुधरने को तैयार नहीं है, क्योंकि आजकल के बच्चे तो पढ़ेंगे ही नहीं, है ना. हमारे प्राइमरी स्कूल, लकीली आई वाज लकी आई शुड से, मेरे प्राइमरी स्कूल के टीचर्स ने इतनी अच्छी अच्छी बातें बताई जो अभी तक मुझे याद आती. आजकल तो वो चीज़ें कोई पढ़ाता भी नहीं होगा. मैं बताऊंगा. फॉर इंस्टेंस, एक श्लोक था, जब हम लोग पढ़ाई नहीं करते थे तो टीचर डायरेक्टली वो बोलने करे पढ़ो पढ़ो, ऐसा नहीं करते थे. उद्यमेन ही सिद्ध्यन्ते कार्याणि न मनोरथ है. उद्यमेन ही सिद्ध्यन्ते कार्याणि न मनोरथ है. नहीं सुप्तस्य सिंहस्य प्रविशन्ति मुखे मृगा. मतलब काम करने से कोई काम होता. उद्यमेन ही सिद्ध्यन्ते कार्याणि न मनोरथ है. केवल मन में उसकी इच्छा करने से कोई काम नहीं होता. उद्यमेन ही सिद्ध्यन्ते कार्याणि न मनोरथ है. नहीं सुप्तस्य सिंहस्य प्रविशन्ति मुखे मृगा. जो सिंह सोया रहता है उसके मुंह में अपने आप हिरण नहीं घुस जाता. तुम हिरण पकड़ना है तो बच्चों को ये सब मालूम ही नहीं है, तो हम लोग फिर प्रेरित, हाँ एग्जाम में कुछ करना है तो पढ़ना पड़ेगा, दिस फॉर दैट. आजकल पढ़ाने का वो तरीका ही गायब हो गया. और जब बच्चे बहुत स्ट्रेस्ड हो जाते हैं तो उनको बोला जाता था काव्य शास्त्र विनोदेन कालो गच्छति धीमताम व्यसनेन च मूर्खाणाम निद्रया कलहेन वा. बुद्धिमान लोगों का देखिए जन्म और मृत्यु सबकी फिक्स है. हमारे ग्रैंडफादर वो बोल के चले गए, मैं भी बोल के चला जाऊंगा, आप लोग भी जाएंगे, है ना. एक दिन आप लोग भी ग्रैंडफादर मदर हो ही जाएंगे. अपने जीवन में 70-80 साल भगवान देते हैं, किसी को कम किसी को थोड़ा ज़्यादा है, बट उतना लिमिटेड पीरियड है. समय ही गुजारना है आपको. शेक्सपियर ने ऑलरेडी बोल दिया था कि ऑल द वर्ल्ड इज स्टेज. ये नाटक ही है. उसमें अच्छा भगवान ने सबको, अच्छे आदमी को भी भगवान नहीं बनाया है, बुरे आदमी को भी भगवान नहीं बनाया. अब आपको अपने ऊपर ये निर्धारित करना है कि मैं इस दिए गए जीवन को किस तरह से व्यतीत करूं. तो काव्य शास्त्र विनोदेना कालो गच्छति धीमताम. जो लोग बुद्धिमान रहते हैं उनका समय काव्य शास्त्र और विनोद में मिलता है. अभी गूगल ऑन रखेंगे तो आवाज से भी वो बता देगा, वो कई बच्चों के हाथ में आ जाएगा। काव्य शास्त्र विनोदेना कालो गच्छति धीमताम, बुद्धिमान लोगों का समय काव्य शास्त्र और विनोद में मिलता है। जैसी चर्चा चल रही है ना, इसलिए पहले के जमाने में शास्त्रार्थ हुआ करते थे राजा लोगों के। काव्य शास्त्र विनोदेना कालो गच्छति धीमताम व्यसनेन च मूर्खाणाम निद्रया कलहेनवा, और मूर्ख लोगों का समय व्यसन, एडिक्शन, व्यसन, व्यसनेन च मूर्खाणाम निद्रया, नींद या कलह, झगड़ा करने में जाता है। तो अब आप अपने को बुद्धिमान श्रेणी में मानते हैं या मूर्ख श्रेणी में मानते हैं, या आपके ऊपर निर्भर करता है। तो अचानक ही कितने बच्चे अपने को बुद्धिमान श्रेणी में डाल देंगे, पढ़ना शुरू कर देंगे, काव्य शास्त्र विनोद देना। ये तरीका होता है पढ़ाने का। पढ़ाने का मतलब ये नहीं कि वो बोर्ड पर आके दिस इज श्रोडिंजर्स इक्वेशन, so someone asked me, this is one of the incidents in IIT, it happened, sir, but from this does not follow. But you know, this is what book says. This is not education. Education is really thinking, and those people who were par excellence, Einstein, there's real story with Einstein, I will tell you, it will be inspiring to you. Einstein, once he was in Moscow, and Landau and Lipschitz, one of them I have forgotten, they also got Nobel Prize. They were 28 or 29 years old, doing postdoctoral fellowship in Moscow, and Einstein had got to deliver a lecture in Russia. So he had a series of lectures, 7 days lecture. Maybe you can invite me for today I will stop just after 5 minutes. So second or third day, he was teaching something which people were not understanding, and Landau was in the right at the back sitting. So he got confused. So he got up from the back, and Russian English is not very good. So to divert your attention from whatever is happening in Russia and near Russia these days, so there's some good things used to also happen near Russia. So he said, sir, if I have to go by Professor Einstein, they used to address Professor Einstein, if I have to go by what you taught us yesterday, then whatever you are teaching is in contradiction with that. So Professor Einstein, now everyone got worried. Professor Einstein ko question kar diya, or he had got the Nobel Prize just prior to that. So maybe he knows that story. So everyone is scared. Einstein will now blast, because questioning a Nobel laureate, and Landau was 29, 38, just doing postdoctoral fellowship. Einstein looks at the blackboard, then looks at that fellow, and then here and there, and then finally smiles and says, yes, what that young fellow at the back has pointed out is correct. Even I do not know what I am talking today. I will resume this class tomorrow. Right? So now I have also reached a stage, and I'm not realizing what I'm talking today. So we will stop here and wait for another occasion when you people can invite me and I can come and talk to you on some similar or better issues. But wherever I have delivered a lecture, I have delivered a series of lectures at Goa University, I mean, many years. And when I have asked people that which lectures did you like more, the kind of light lectures like this, or that hardcore mathematical modeling and ecological modeling and climate change science lectures, they always vouched for this kind of a lecture. Sir, let us have this lecture only. So continue. I found people are eager to really learn from others' stories. They have got fed up with the textbooks. We are books ourselves. Every professor is a book. Allow him to give you that time, and ask him or invite him to give you that time. Open his life book, and when you read that book, you will learn much more, because our memory goes by images. We remember images. We forget the names. You remember a person, you might forget his name. तो वो स्टोरी का जो इमेज बनता है वही तुम्हारे पास रहेगा. और हर व्यक्ति के पास, वाई प्रोफेसर, हर व्यक्ति के पास एक स्टोरी है. तुम्हारे दादाजी, नाना जी, पापा, मम्मी, मौसी, जिससे वो स्टोरी से सीखो. और मैं आज जो दर्दनाक चीज प्रेजेंट जनरेशन के साथ देख रहा हूं कि वो अपने दोस्तों के साथ भी अपनी स्टोरी शेयर करने को तैयार नहीं, बिकॉज उनको डर लग रहा है कि मुझे इस यूनिवर्सिटी में शायद एडमिशन मिल जाए, अरे इसको भी पता चल जाएगा मैं कहाँ अप्लाई करूँ तो इसको मेरा एडमिशन ही गायब हो जाएगा। इतना ज़्यादा कंपटीशन हो गया है। तो प्लीज कम आउट ऑफ दैट कंपटीशन। यू विल एंजॉय लाइफ ओनली व्हेन यू कोऑपरेट विथ ईच अदर। दैट इज व्हाट इज अ फैमिली। ट्रीट, हम लोग बोलते तो हैं वसुधैव कुटुंबकम, बट ट्रीट नहीं करते। सो पूरी वसुधा, वसुधा इज अर्थ ओनली, पूरी वसुधाओं को कुटुंबकम की तरह हो, एक दूसरे से सीखो। और कभी कभी अपने यंगस्टर्स के साथ भी सीखना पड़ता है। जब मैं पीएचडी करने लगा तब भी मैं अंडर ग्रेजुएट हॉस्टल में ही रहा आईआईटी में, स्पेशल परमिशन लेके डीन साहब से, जैसे आपके डीन साहब हैं। सो आवर प्रोफेसर फारूकी वाज एमएन फारूकी वाज आवर डीन एंड विथ होम आई यूज्ड टू टेक पार्ट इन ड्रामेटिक्स। मेरे स्ट्रेंज एसोसिएशन थे प्रोफेसर लोगों के साथ। मैंने बोला सर आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू लीव दिस हॉस्टल because I am addicted to this hostel, I am comfortable, I will live there, I am not going to stay with Buddhas, those days. अभी तो मैं खुद ही बुढ़ा हो गया हूँ, because that was different kind of sects used to prevail in IIT. बुढ़ा सेक्ट, एमटेक, पीएचडी ये बुढ़ा में आते थे, यंगस्टर्स वो आते थे, और अंडर ग्रेजुएट हॉस्टल अलग थे, पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट हॉस्टल अलग रहते। तो मैं अंडर ग्रेजुएट हॉस्टल में रहा क्योंकि मुझे मालूम था इन बच्चों से मैं ज़्यादा सीखने वाला हूँ। And our chairman, board of governors, Rusi Modi, who was the TISCO managing director, used to always say, during his convocation lecture, he was a beautiful lecture giver, he used to say, my doors for jobs are always open for IIT Kharagpur. The BTechs from IIT Kharagpur, anytime you come and knock at my door, you will get job in Telco and TISCO. MTechs, apply, I will think over it. PhDs, please spare me, don't come to me. So we asked him, sir, why this enmity with PhD people? PhD people like वो घड़ा बन गया है ना कुम्हार का, अब उसको तुम बदल नहीं सकते हो शेप, वो वैसा ही रहेगा घड़ा और सुराही। बीटेक वाले को मैं अपने डायरेक्शन में मोल्ड कर सकता हूँ। The moral of the story is be that kind of a flexible citizen of the country. Assimilate whatever good is available wherever. Younger, older, this caste, that caste, Hindu, Muslim, whatever, Jain. जहां से भी अच्छी चीज है, जब प्यास लगती है तो हम रिवर का कास्ट देखते हैं क्या? पानी से प्यास बुझाते हैं। जहां से भी अच्छी चीज मिल रही है उसको आत्मसात करने की फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी और क्षमता बढ़ाइए, और तभी आप सही वैज्ञानिक हैं। वैज्ञानिक यूनिवर्सिटीज, इंस्टीट्यूशंस, देश यहां नहीं मिलते। वैज्ञानिक अपनी प्रवृत्तियों से बनता है। एक छोटा बच्चा भी वैज्ञानिक की प्रवृत्ति रखता है और वैज्ञानिक हो सकता है। और बहुत सारे अभी बच्चों ने तो स्टार्टअप्स भी शुरू कर दिया है जो पीएचडी, आईआईटी के पीएचडी वाले नहीं कर पाते। तो दैट इज द मोरल ऑफ द स्टोरी। अपने भीतर वैज्ञानिक प्रवृत्तियां लाइए, और अगर हिंदुस्तान का हर नागरिक वैज्ञानिक दृष्टिकोण रखेगा, इवन पॉलिटिशियंस अगर वो वैज्ञानिक दृष्टिकोण रखें, तो अपना देश क्या पूरा विश्व सुधर जाएगा। वो उस वैज्ञानिक दृष्टिकोण की जरूरत है जो देश को, समाज को, विश्व को एक नई दिशा दे सके, मानवता उत्पन्न कर सके। आज मुझे मानवता इस समाज में दिखती नहीं है। सारा कुछ है, किसी को ऊपर विश्वास ही नहीं है। सब कुछ है हमारे पास, लेकिन मैं 10 बॉडीगार्ड लेके घूमता हूं। क्यों? मुझे किसी के ऊपर भरोसा ही नहीं है। और ये मेरा देश ही है जहां पे एक प्राइम मिनिस्टर को बॉडीगार्ड्स नहीं मार दिया। आपके पास सब कुछ हो, आपके पास विश्वास ही नहीं हो, तो आपको तो रात को नींद भी नहीं आएगी। और गीता का शायद 66वां और 67वां श्लोक है, द्वितीय अध्याय में, आप कभी पढ़ लीजिएगा या गूगल पे देख लीजिएगा। बिना शांति के तो सुख कभी मिल ही नहीं सकता है। तो जब आपको नींद ही नहीं आती है तो आपके पास सुख कैसे आएगा? और वो आदमी सबसे ज्यादा रिच है। भारत रत्न तो मैं लोगों को रिकमेंड कर देता हूं, उस आदमी को देना चाहिए जिसको जीवन भर में कभी दवा नहीं ली। अभी ऐसा आदमी मिलेगा क्या? हमारे नाना जी और दादाजी के जमाने में मिलता था। भारत रत्न उसी को देना चाहिए जिसने कभी दवा नहीं ली, क्योंकि वही आदमी सही मामले में अपना जीवन जी रहा है, बाकी तो सब्सिडाइज्ड जीवन जी रहा है, क्रेडिट पे जी रहे हैं, लोन पे जी रहे हैं, दवा पे जी रहे हैं, तो क्या जी रहे हैं? अभी तो ऐसा नागरिक ही मिलना मुश्किल है। उसी तरह से भारत रत्न उसी आदमी को देना चाहिए जिसको चैन की नींद आती है। That is a technique. We should learn that technique and do a engineering cost benefit analysis. Once I was in Varanasi. Varanasi is my in-laws place. I was stressed when I was your age. Maybe I don't know what was the reason, I don't remember. So I was walking along a road. अचानक मुझे एक बदबू आई। मैंने घूम कर देखा तो वहाँ एक बहुत गंदा तालाब था, कीचड़। अब मैं कोशिश कर रहा हूँ वहाँ से कैसे जल्दी निकल जाऊँ। अचानक ध्यान में आ रही, यहाँ पे 40-50 भैंसें आराम से तैर रही हैं और मस्त। फिर मेरे ध्यान में आया, मैंने इंजीनियरिंग कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस शुरू किया। ये भैंसें, जिनको हम भैंस बोलते हैं, किसी आदमी को आप भैंस बोल दीजिए तो मतलब उसको दिमाग ही नहीं है ना। जिसको दिमाग नहीं है उसको इतना दिमाग है कि वो कीचड़ में भी आनंद ले सकता है। कीचड़ में कमल भी खिलता है, बट यहाँ आनंद की बात हो रही है। जिसके पास दिमाग नहीं है उसके पास इतना दिमाग है, वो कीचड़ में आनंद ले सकता है। और मैं सुबह शाम हनी खाता हूँ, शहद पीता हूँ, दूध, मेवे, मलाई खाता हूँ, और मैं जीवन का आनंद मुझे नसीब ही नहीं हो रहा है। दूसरे दिन से मेरी जीवन धारा ही बदल गई। और मैंने अपनी पत्नी को ये इंसिडेंट बताया, क्योंकि घर उनका ही है, ससुराल। तो बोले बहुत ही अच्छा है, तो चलिए कम से कम ससुराल ने इतना कंट्रीब्यूशन तो किया, मेरी जीवन धारा ही बदल दी। इंजीनियरिंग कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस, दैट भैंस हैज द एबिलिटी टू डिराइव दैट हैप्पीनेस विच इज eluding you with all the resources you have. And the story which I have told you about myself, this is true of most of us. All the resources we have, but we don't have that peace of mind. We are mistrusting everyone. माँ बाप को बच्चों पर भरोसा नहीं है, बच्चों को माँ बाप पर भरोसा नहीं है। दुर्योधन ने भीम को मार दिया, बहन भाई का शिकार कर रहा है ना। और हस्बैंड को वाइफ पे भरोसा नहीं, वाइफ को हस्बैंड पे तो पहले भी नहीं था, वाइफ को हस्बैंड पे भरोसा नहीं। कौन सा समाज? हम इतने पैसे इकट्ठा करके क्या करेंगे? समाज वैसा होना चाहिए जो पॉजिटिव चीजें हैं वो समाज में आनी चाहिए। तो इन्हीं सब चंद बातों के साथ शायद आप कुछ इंस्पायर हो सके। मैं अपना वक्तव्य यहाँ खत्म करना चाहता हूँ, तभी कोई मुझे धन्यवाद देगा। मुझे अच्छा लगा आप लोग इतनी देर तक बैठे। मैं देख रहा था कितने लोग यहाँ से भागना चाहते हैं, बट काफ़ी लोग मुस्कुरा रहे हैं। अगर जीवन में हम कुछ और नहीं दे सके तो कम से कम किसी का बैंक बैलेंस नहीं बढ़ा सके तो एटलीस्ट उसके आनंद के क्षण तो कुछ बढ़ा दें। इतना तो हमारा कंट्रीब्यूशन सोसाइटी के प्रति होना ही चाहिए। मेरे जीवन का उद्देश्य शुरू से यही रहा, बचपन से लेके आज तक, और मैं आशा रखता हूँ कि इस उद्देश्य में मैं सफल रहूँगा। तो आप लोगों को पुनः धन्यवाद देते हुए आशा है मेरा यहाँ आना आप लोगों को सुखकारी लगा होगा, अच्छा लगा होगा। और कभी और मौका मिले तो बहुत सारी बातें हैं, लेकिन वो बातें बाद में की जाएंगी, क्योंकि हर आदमी को भूख तो लगती ही है, सबको भूख लगी होगी। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir, for encouraging us all. I would like to share, sir, that this is our first program which we are conducting offline as a National Science Day for university level. So these all students, they are really encouraged by you today. Thank you very much, sir. So sir has shared and encouraged and given us good experiences, shared good experiences, and this will really help the students, to arise and awake, and they will not stop to reach their goal. Sir has also given a moral that one should be a flexible citizen of country. So thank you very much, sir, for motivating us. We are very fortunate that for today's function, we are having Chairman, Honorable Dr. Sanjay Dudul sir. Sir is Professor and Head, Department of Applied Electronics in our university. He has 33 years of teaching experience, 16 years of administrative experience. He has more than 100 publications in national and international journals. He has one granted patent to his credit. And I must say that sir is a very good teacher, researcher, and administrator. Whenever we we request him to suggest or give us a guidance, he always says that one should not lose hope and courage. He always motivates us and inspires us. So I really consider that this is a great pleasure to invite him on this occasion to enlighten us.
Good afternoon, one and all. Our source of inspiration, Sant Gadge Baba, a great social reformer. Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Dilip Malkhede sir, Honorable Acting Vice Chancellor of Amravati University, Dr. Vilas Bhale sir, Honorable Chief Guest for today's occasion, Dr. J.S. Pandey, former Professor and Chairman, Academy of Science, Scientific and Innovative Research, Niri Nagpur, Honorable Registrar of the University, Dr. Tushar Deshmukh sir, Professor Sandeep Wagude sir, Coordinator of National Science Day, my colleagues, I forgot the name of Dr. Manisha Kodape ma'am, who has been comparing this program. Dignitaries in front of me, Professor Anand Aswar, Professor Nathar madam, Professor Dore, Professor Prashant Gawande, Professor Khadri, Shingvekar sir, Professor Kurwade, Professor Kamble and Professor Nagle, and Dr. Vilas Nandurkar, PRO. Yeah, Professor Anand Aswar, actually I named him. And my student friends, I see in them scientists, engineers and technocrats of tomorrow. This has been a great occasion and we listened to a very inspiring lecture by Professor Pandey in a very humorous tone. And then he has touched different aspects and virtues of the ideal characteristics of scientists and the climate change and different aspects actually. So we are very fortunate because now National Education Policy 2020 is at the doorstep now, and what the concept was advocated here, that is the flexible education, because the science, engineering, technology, they should work in harmony, because engineering actually it is the design, how the problem is solved, and technology it is the application, but it is based on science. It is based on science. We are facing different problems nowadays, and then what we can do for our children, our students, our young students, that is our responsibility. We are responsible. We are responsible. We are responsible for, say, clean air quality. Can we provide clean air quality to our next newer generations? Pure drinking water, because even today many villages and in many villages this drinking facility is not available. Pure water, and then affordable energy, because the sources have been depleting day by day. So can we devise newer energies or renewable energy sources which should be affordable for one and all? And then the sustainable agriculture, because you know whatever conventional architecture that we have been doing nowadays, that is sustainable agriculture means the plants or that particular thing, it should be based on minimum water. It should not consume lot of water, because water is the great problem, and now in future also. So we will have to save water, because in big metropolitan cities like Delhi, the people are struggling to get clean air, actually pure air, many are asthmatic and so on. So these are all the problems, and this, I will not cover all these things, but that is just for your pondering and inquisitiveness. The affordable energy, sustainable agriculture, then the healthcare and transportation, climate change and rivers. How can we keep our rivers clean? How can we keep our water bodies clean? Now, dear students, now this is the theme. The theme is very appropriate, integrated approach in science and technology for sustainable future. So it is our responsibility, it is your responsibility to maintain the eco-balance, to maintain the ecological balance. It is your responsibility. So science, technology, engineering, mathematics, so all these things should work in harmony to find the solutions, so that we can give something to our future generations, because that is the sustainable future ecological system. So I will not take much of your time because you must be feeling hungry now. So with this I conclude, and I am grateful to the organizers. I am grateful to Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Dilip Malkade Sahib, Dr. Acting Vice Chancellor, Honorable Acting Vice Chancellor Dr. Bhale Sahib, Honorable Registrar Dr. Tushar Deshmukh sir, the organizer, coordinator Sandeep Wagude sir, everybody for inviting me on this occasion. Thank you one and all.
Thank you very much, sir, for your words of wisdom. I take this opportunity that if any stone remains unturned, I will apologize for that. We are moving to the last part of this program, which is to express the vote of thanks. And may I now request Dr. Jagruti Barabde Madam to propose vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Manisha. Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. D.N. Malkade, Acting Vice Chancellor Dr. V.M. Bhale, Chairman of today's inaugural program, Professor Sanjay Dudul, In Charge Dean, Faculty of Science and Technology, Sant Gadge Baba Amravati University, Chief Guest, Professor J.S. Pandey, former Professor and Chairman, Academy of Scientific and Innovative Research, Niri, Nagpur, Registrar Dr. T.R. Deshmukh, Sant Gadge Baba Amravati University, Coordinator Professor Wagude, Professor Aswar, Professor Khadri, Professor Nathar, all teaching faculties, student friends, PRO Dr. Nandurkar, and the media persons, all conveners and the members of organizing committee, administrative officers, and student friends. We have assembled here for the inaugural function of National Science Day 2022, and it has been inaugurated. I am sure that students will be actively participated in various activities and will be benefited by this event, that is the National Science Day. There is a scientific proof that being grateful is plain good for you. Gratitude can boost the strong relationship. So let me move to the duty entrusted to me to propose vote of thanks. On behalf of Organizing Committee of National Science Day 2022, Sant Gadge Baba Amravati University, I express my deep gratitude towards Chief Guest Professor Pandey, former Professor and Chairman, Academy of Scientific and Innovative Research, Niri, Nagpur, who have inaugurated the program of NSD and honor this function with his inspirational thoughts. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank the person who speak less and do wonder, none other than Professor Dudul, Dean Faculty of Science and Technology, and who preside over the function. So thank you, sir. I am also thankful to our source of inspiration, Professor D.N. Malkade, Honorable Vice Chancellor, and Acting Vice Chancellor, Professor Bhale, for the constant support. An event like this not happened overnight, and there is a need of planning. We are enough lucky to be backed with supportive registrar, Professor T.R. Deshmukh. Thank you, sir, for your constant support and everything. I extend my sincere thanks to Professor Wagude, Coordinator NSD 2020, who has taken initiative and facilitate the team members. Thank you, Professor Wagude. On behalf of Organizing Committee of NSD, I acknowledge our gratitude towards the comparer, Dr. Manisha Kodape, and each and everyone who is the part of this activity directly and indirectly. I stop here with the quote of Bharat Ratna Sir C.V. Raman. He said, "You can't always choose who comes into your life, but you can learn what lessons they teach you." But it was our strong desire, sir, that Dr. J.S. Pandey should be with us for the inaugural function. And today you are with us. So thank you very much. Because आपने तो जीवन का विज्ञान हमें सिखा दिया. So thank you, sir. So once again, I thank you, one and all present here. Thank you.
So with the permission of the dais,